Welcome to the Down There Where podcast. I'm Amy Milne. This is the show where we get loud about women's below-the-belt health from menstruation to menopause and everything in between. So many women continue to silently endure issues like endometriosis, PCOS, menstrual disorders, and menopause-related challenges without the proper support. We're done with the whispers. We're here to break the taboos, share the stories, and have the conversations no matter how uncomfortable. Whether you're dealing with your own health journey, supporting someone who is, or just ready to join the movement, you're in the right place. Let's get loud. You know that moment when you're sitting in a doctor's office, you know something is wrong, and the person across from you looks you dead in the eye and says, just eat better and exercise more? Yeah. Today's guest knows that moment very well. She's 23, she's been living with PCOS since she was 13, and she's figured out more about her own body from a romance novel and a TikTok video than from most of the doctors she's seen, which honestly says everything. Her name is Noah, no H. She's based in Chicago. She's studying interior design. She has an identical twin, and she comes from a family where 4 women all share the same diagnosis. 4. She is brave, she is self-aware, and she showed up today to share her story so that someone else out there doesn't have to feel as alone as she did. I'm so glad she's here. Noah, welcome to the Down There Where podcast. Let's get loud. Awesome. All right. I am very excited to welcome Noah to the show today. Noah, welcome to the Down There Where podcast.
Thank you for having me on. My name's
I'm excited. Noah. All right. I'm so excited. And you're Noah without an H, which I love. So Noah, we're just meeting each other for the very first time today. You are a very good friend of a colleague of mine, Stephanie, and you learned about the podcast through her. And so introduce yourself. Who are you? Where do you live? Give us the deets.
So my name's Noah. I live in Chicago. I have a very big family. We're 6, so I have 3 siblings. One is a twin sister who's identical.
Whoa.
We love to travel. We go all over the world all the time. My parents just got from Vietnam the other day. And I live in Chicago, and I'm a college student.
All right. Amazing. Okay. So you're a twin, an identical twin. What is that like?
It's really weird. There's definitely been some weird instances, like I took over her job at some point,
What?
and everybody kept thinking that I was her, and they were like, "Oh my God, you're back?" And I'm like, "No, different
That's the
person."
best. Oh my God. That is so great. Is there anything, did you ever trick your parents? Were you ever able to trick your parents when you were
We
kids?
definitely have tried, like, if they yell out one of our names, the other one's like, "Yeah," even though they're not even home.
It's like we've always got your back kind of
Yeah.
situation. Crazy. What are you doing in school?
So I'm studying interior design, and I just want to help people design their forever homes.
Cool. And you mentioned you traveled a lot. So has that impacted your decision to be in interior design?
It definitely has. I've seen so many different styles and so many different places that, like in Barcelona, what they taught me, I'm sure is going to be 100% different from this year in Chicago.
Right. I bet. How was Barcelona?
Amazing. Oh my God. Amazing city, all the
Yeah.
landmarks, like everything. And then also the ease
Cool.
of travel to other countries in Europe.
Oh, as you say that, as you are in the United States right now,
Yeah.
and travel is not
Not
easy
as easy.
currently.
No.
Amazing. I can't wait to see more of what you're doing. I think we just finished a renovation about a year ago, and I absolutely value the experience of an interior designer. I don't think my husband and I would have survived our reno if we did not have the talent of our amazing interior designer. So that's so exciting. And so you speak of coming from a big family. As much as I would love to talk about travel and your family and all those good things, we're here on the Down There podcast because we're talking about stuff happening below the belt. And you happen to suffer from PCOS.
Yes, so PCOS stands for polycystic ovarian syndrome. There's very much like different things that can impact different people in different ways. The parts that I suffer most from is hormone imbalance, which means I usually have um, lower hormones, so I am prescribed birth control to help regulate that. I don't really get my periods otherwise.
Okay.
I suffer from insulin resistance, so do
Mm.
most women with
Mhm.
PCOS, so sugars and stuff like that. A lot of women are like pre-diabetes or even diabetes. My older sister got diabetes because of how her body works with insulin resistance.
Mm.
I'm pre-diabetes. I was a couple of years ago, and my twin sister is pre-diabetes right now. And also
Wow.
there's the actual cysts. Some people it does affect, some people it doesn't.
Wow, and how did you know you had it? So, I mean, I don't love that you have this, but I love that you actually have a diagnosis because there's so many women, especially women as young as you, that suffer and have not gotten answers. So tell me a little bit about um what happened for you to find your way to a diagnosis and how did you get that diagnosis?
So it took a while. It took about a year and a half. Me and my twin sister were like sticks of little girls at like age 12, 13. And then
Wow.
suddenly over a summer, we each gained like 50 pounds. We weren't changing anything about our diets, about our exercise, anything like that. And suddenly we gained like 50 pounds for no reason. Um, and then we
Wow.
got our periods and they weren't normal either. So it took a while. We went to multiple different doctors until one day, my mom said maybe we should take you to a gynecologist or something
Right.
to like really find out what's causing all of this. So they tested and they did like blood tests and stuff like that,
Mhm.
and they showed that our hormones were all out of whack, and that our sugar was higher, and cholesterol was high. So it's very much like we waited for a while. We saw different doctors. They basically said,
Mhm.
just start exercising, start a diet. So it took a couple of doctor's visits like that for us to be like, maybe we should see like a different doctor, a specialist.
Yeah, how did that make you I wasn't laughing at you, I laugh out of frustration of
Mhm.
just like, oh, how like, there's a
Yeah.
reason why, like you said, you were a stick of a human and fifty pounds isn't I ate too much on the
Yeah.
weekend, and I haven't walked for a
And it
while,
was
like
like in the span of 3 months. Like it came just out of
wow.
nowhere suddenly. Like we had to get whole new closets and everything. It was like, what is happening? It was like this overnight change.
And that couldn't have felt good as a young woman, as a young girl.
Absolutely not. I'm still struggling with body image to this day, and as are most women. Um,
Mhm,
so it's still taking some work to get through it, but at some point, you just have to realize your body is the way it is because it helps you function and go through the day to
mhm.
day, and that's the function of it, and it's beautiful in any shape or size.
I love that, Noah. That's very mature of you, even though you could be like, "Well, that sucks," because I'm sure there's probably times where some of that does suck.
Yes,
Because,
definitely.
I mean, it can suck and 2 things can be true at the same time. It can suck and you can still
Yeah.
have a really good image of yourself because you should. You are beautiful and it is your body and how it is working for you, and when you go to a doctor and someone just tells you to exercise and eat better, you might wanna punch a wall when someone says that to you. Just lightly, like, maybe,
Yeah.
like, because that doesn't put us in jail if we punch walls, right? It's beautiful that your mom well, a couple of things there. It's beautiful that your mom, you were able to go to your mom and that she believed in you to help you, and you mentioned your twin sister as well, so both of you are struggling with PCOS?
Yes. So we both found out at roughly the same time. We both had that weight gain and change over the
Wow.
summer. So we realized it must be something genetic, and that's when my mom and my older sister got tested as well, and they also found out that they had PCOS as well. So we found out that it's like a dominant hereditary thing. So out of
Wow,
four women in the family, four of them have it.
oh my goodness, and is that if you and I'm still learning about PCOS, is that and I know neither of us are doctors or what have you, but in your so what you've been told, it is hereditary?
That is what I've been told. Yes.
Okay, And are symptoms the same for your twin and then for your older sister and your mom? Like, just stepping back and looking at this illness affecting all of you, what are some of the similarities you see? What are some of the differences that you've experienced as a family suffering from
So
this?
the similarities, I find that a lot of them are in like actual like body differences. So like
Okay.
we all have excess hair on our bodies. We all shed a lot. Like our hair is thinning constantly.
Wow.
My older sister has diabetes. My twin
Mm.
sister is pre-diabetes. I managed to get my sugar levels normal the past couple of years without the help of medication. And then my mom also, she is pre-diabetes, but she's been working out and losing weight a lot recently. So she is definitely getting towards being like healthy.
So you're not only just dealing with one illness, you're dealing with multiple illnesses and effects on your body, and
Yeah.
they all are feeding each other or not feeding each other. So what what does it feel like for you to have PCOS and be struggling with the other things? Like, what does that, for someone who's listening who maybe thinks they have PCOS, and while we're all different and while we're not doctors, what is that experience like for you in terms of
So
having this?
there are definitely some things that I feel like affect one another. Like, I'm honestly constantly in like a state of discomfort, like pretty much no matter
Mm,
what I eat, my body hates it. Like, I like
wow.
carbs, sugars, anything like that. It's just really rough on my body. So, like, sometimes I tend to avoid it, but like, that's also not a very sustainable way of eating.
Mm-mm. No.
And then like IBS, that might be TMI, but
No,
IBS,
nothing's
like,
TMI because we all need to know, because if none of us talk about this stuff, then we can't help each other out. So
so
it's all good.
IBS is very much a thing with
Okay.
PCOS because of the insulin resistant and the hormone resistance and the hormone
Mhm.
imbalance. The body just really doesn't like a lot of things, and there's really nothing to do about it besides either learn to live with it or like find the right medications for you. Like my sister takes a drug called metformin, which is usually prescribed to help with like blood sugar and lowering
Okay.
it. And it helps with that insulin resistance. Personally, for me, it didn't work, so I stopped taking them. But for her,
Okay.
they do work. So it's really kind of testing and trying out different things that help you. Like for hair loss, like there are different creams and stuff that work amazingly well. Like, I
Mhm.
dye my hair all the time, and I still have hair on
Yeah,
my
you've
head,
got a great,
like
like, for those listening, you've got incredible, like, purple into fuchsia. I love it. And do you do that because, like, have you always dyed your hair? Is this something because of is this
so
part of the identity you've come into as a woman with PCOS?
So it's kind of both. After I did dye my hair a couple times in high school, just because I was like, maybe people focus more on my hair than the rest of my body, and that's
Mm.
kind of where it started. And then it kind of became a little bit more of like a way of expressing myself, like having fun, choosing my favorite colors, and like just taking a couple hours, playing a show in the background, and dyeing my hair. So it's become more of a comfort to me to do rather than something to help distract from the rest of me.
Right. You've got a beautiful attitude about it. I mean, it would have, like, as you shared, it came from a place of, like, your body transforming overnight, basically. And, and when you're a young woman, and we all know that, still in high school and all those types of things, people aren't always kind. We're not always kind to ourselves. It doesn't even mean we could be surrounded by the most beautiful human beings who make us feel beautiful. But we're not always kind to ourselves. And, when your body is out of control and you have no control over it, it could really play some messed up games with us.
Yeah, when you have
Um,
something that really doesn't have a cure, you find your own ways of like
right.
finding the bright sides in it. Like for some people, it might be like booking an appointment to go get their mustache waxed or something like
Right.
that. So it really depends on what makes you feel better.
Fair. And does your twin dye her hair, or what does she do?
She dyes her hair occasionally. She doesn't
Okay.
go as wild as I do, but her hair is red right now, and she's
Okay.
working, but she's gonna go back to just brown with highlights in a while.
Okay. And how have you found your care? Like, it sounds like obviously there's 4 of you, so there's power in numbers. And especially it sounds like you've got a mom who's leading the way along with some very strong young women. So yay mom and yay you guys. What have was it easy to get the diagnosis? Did you just walk in and say like, "Hey, we've got this," and someone was like, "Yes, check that box." What was your journey to your diagnosis?
So with general practitioners, we found that it wasn't as much something that they paid attention to. Like they were mostly about the overall body health rather than looking for a problem, for a solution
Right.
or a diagnosis for an obvious problem.
Hence,
Uh,
they looked at immediately, like, "Go exercise and eat better."
exactly, yes.
Right.
And then we found with gynecologists, there were some that were able to help and some that weren't. The first one we went to was not able to
Mm,
diagnose us because we didn't have any like actual cysts at the time. Um,
okay.
so they did like an ultrasound and stuff. So based on that, they couldn't determine that we had PCOS. But the next doctor kind of put it all together and put it
Okay.
together into a diagnosis.
And then you were able to get some care and some relief. Do you live like, are you in pain all the time aside from all these ancillary, like, hair loss, hair like, it sounds like you lose hair where you want it and you
Yep.
gain hair where you don't want it, which is also not overly helpful. The human body is just a mess sometimes.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah, it's kind of just finding ways to alleviate the discomfort. I'd say it's more discomfort than pain.
Okay. Okay.
So I hadn't read much on PCOS back when I was diagnosed. I was only
Mhm.
13.
Yeah.
And I didn't know like how to change any of what the doctor was telling me that my body
Mhm.
was going through. So I did find at some point like a book that I read a scene in it, and I was like, "That sounds really familiar." And it was a romance book,
Mm.
nothing medical
Right.
related or anything.
Yeah.
And the female protagonist had PCOS, and
Hmm.
she said that at some point she felt like a sudden sharp pain, and she had to go to the ER, and like her boyfriend drove her there. And the doctor told her that she had a polycystic ovarian cyst that had exploded, and basically, there's
Mm.
nothing you could do about it. They basically only gave her pain medication, and it was like, "It'll go away in a while," but there's nothing to do about it. And I was like,
Right.
"That sounds like exactly something I went through in Barcelona, where I literally just randomly was hanging out with my friend. We were about to go out, and suddenly I, like, fell on the ground in pain, and I was like, 'What is happening?' And I thought I had, like, appendicitis or
For
something. I was like, "I don't
sure.
have like, I don't know if travel insurance will cover this, like, if I have
Right.
to go to the doctor, to the ER." And I ended up just, like, lying in bed in pain for hours and hours, until it finally went away, and then months later, I found that scene in the book, and I was like, "That's what happened."
Right. And what you said there, which I think is so powerful, is you knew something was wrong and you didn't go to the doctors because you weren't sure if in another country you could get help, which is so heartbreaking as well because you just laid there in pain and you might have been able to get painkillers. And when you don't know why it's happening because you didn't at the time, like you just said, you didn't know what was really happening and you were afraid to go to the doctors because of healthcare. Like, women are always struggling with this stuff because at least once a month, if not more or less or whatever we're potentially struggling with, we likely need care wherever we
Yeah.
go. And you didn't get care that time. Sounds like you had a good friend who was hanging out with you though.
Yeah, we were gonna go out, but she was also supposed to fly out the next day, and I was like, "Don't
Wow.
even worry about it,
Right.
like, I'll go home
Lay here
and
until I feel better.
yeah, I'll keep you updated, I'll let you know that I'm still alive, don't worry about
Yeah.
it." I was like, "Get on your flight."
Yeah. Well, did you at least figure out that if you could have gone to did you check in? Like, now are you away? Like, now do you pay attention to these things in terms of when you're traveling because you have PCOS?
So I managed to get my health insurance in the US to pay for like an online doctor's visit.
Okay, cool.
And they basically said because like they couldn't like examine me in person or anything, they
Right.
basically said like if it continues for like the next couple hours or like more than a day, then try again and we'll see
Mhm.
if there's anything we could do for you. But it doesn't sound like you have appendicitis, so it might not be something that's urgent right now.
Right. Right. If it's this, go get care. If it's everything else that has to do with just being a woman, just suffer through it.
Basically, yeah.
Right? That's awful. And so you came home from Barcelona and then you read the scene in the book and you were able to, at this point, did your sister, so at this point, did anyone know what they had? Like, did your mom or your older sister know, or was it
Yeah,
when you read it
so
in the
we
book?
found
Okay.
out about like 8, 9 years ago.
Okay.
And I only had this happen like a year and a half ago. So I wasn't
Okay.
even aware that I had any cysts. I didn't have any the last
Okay.
time that I got checked
Got
and
it.
had an ultrasound. So I was completely unprepared.
Right, and no one really educated you on what may happen or this could be a thing or get medical insurance because you have PCOS when you're traveling because you might have a burst cyst, like,
Mhm.
it's crazy, there's no guidebook
It really
currently.
is, yes. But I've
Oh,
definitely
that's so
found,
frustrating.
like, a lot of, like, help online, reading about
Okay.
it, and kinda just figuring out what works best for me, like, part of the hormone imbalance is lots of breakouts from stress and stuff like that. I'm
Okay.
suffering from one right now, but I
Okay.
know how to, like, take care of my skin in a way that it's gonna heal in a couple days. So
Okay.
it's definitely about shuffling and juggling all the different ways.
And it sounds like a full-time job.
It definitely can be. I definitely have
Mhm.
a large collection of, like, self-care items that need to be applied.
Yeah, what are some of your for someone who's listening and, what are some of your favorite like, what are some of the things you use that are favorites that work? What do you like
So,
to
for my
use?
hair, I've heard a lot of success from other people about it as well. It's like Rogaine, like the men's
Mhm.
version, basically, and specifically using the men's version because the women's version is weaker and doesn't help as much.
Right? It's like I take, I'm in, surgical menopause, and so I take testosterone, and similar, the testosterone I take is androgel because they're and it's male testosterone because we don't actually we make our own testosterone, we don't have a product that mimics it
Mm,
yet. And I'm sure you're putting Rogaine on your head and the box is instructions for a man, just like when I'm
don't
putting on the
use for a
male
woman. Yep.
right. Yeah, and then the testosterone bottle I have literally shows like where to put it on your man's body. I'm like, "So I don't have those body parts." Like it's crazy, but how did you learn that like where did you discover that using the male version was better than the female version?
So I was just kind of scouring like a bunch of different websites because I'd
Yeah.
heard of Rogaine before. And I was like,
Yeah.
okay, well, this is for men. So the women's is probably
Right.
better for women's. And then I was
Right.
reading the ingredients and I was like, but the women's has a lower percentage of the active ingredient and the men's has more, but I need more hair.
And I specifically would like more hair here versus here,
Yeah.
right?
And then I saw a TikTok video, I can't remember who it was by, but it was some sort of doctor, a female doctor who said like, yeah, don't buy the female version, buy the male
Wow.
version because that's a lot better and it'll actually work for
Right.
you. And I was
Right.
like, okay, I
Okay.
guess that was a good call.
Great. So male Rogaine is helping with hair. What else have you got on your list of helpful tools?
Laser for facial hair really
Okay.
helps, and, like, going to an actual laser place is extremely expensive, like, especially with not
Mhm.
how fast my hair grows because I have
Right.
too much testosterone,
Okay.
so buying a device for, like, $150 saves thousands of dollars, and like
Wow.
I can get rid of all my facial hair, all the other body hair that grows too fast. So I found that to be a lifesaver, especially in the summer.
Okay. I bet. And so I still want to hear about more of your tools, but your hormone imbalance with PCOS is your body is making too much testosterone? Or is
Yes,
that part of it for you?
and
Okay.
too little estrogen.
Okay. So do you take estrogen then to help balance that?
So I take birth control pills. That's what's prescribed for it.
Okay.
And that's
Interesting.
what I found that most people have been prescribed in the past for
Okay.
it because it doesn't and because it just adds more estrogen. It doesn't necessarily
Right.
lower the testosterone, but it
Right.
brings the estrogen back and helps bring back the periods, which I used to not get them for like 3 to 6 months at a time, sometimes even
Right.
more. So it helps at least with that and to balance that a little bit.
Okay. And does the pill make you feel okay? Like I know there I mean for myself and for others, the pill at least for me later in life put me into a drug induced depression and so I knew I was like not myself, but up until now the pill is working for you.
Yeah, the pill has been
Great.
working. My periods
Great.
have gotten regular. I
Amazing.
do have depression unrelated to that though.
Okay.
So,
Fair.
like, it kinda makes me feel wacky a little bit at times just
Yeah,
because of that, like, crossing of the 2.
for sure.
But I found that it's a lot I don't feel as good without the birth control just because
Okay.
everything's relatively functioning
Right.
period-wise.
Right. And do you take any progesterone?
I do not, no.
Okay. And has that ever come up in conversation in terms of needing it or not having enough or
Not really. It's been
no?
more of the lower estrogen, higher
Mhm.
testosterone,
Okay.
the not having periods, the not being able to eat things a lot,
Right.
blood sugar. I was prescribed something for that, but that didn't work for me. And now my
Mm,
blood sugar is just normally regular. I'm not pre-diabetes
okay.
anymore or anything without the help
Great.
of medication.
That's great. And what are some of the other things that you use? So we've got Rogaine, we've got the laser. What else have you got? I feel
I
like
do
you've got
think
all
that
the things.
birth control is a very important
Okay.
thing, but it really depends on who it's for because it
Yep.
can either help or harm. Like
Yep.
the first brand of birth control pills that I was taking was eventually banned in the US. Um,
Oh.
and then I found that the newer one is just better for me.
Hmm.
It works better with regulating my periods and my hormones. So I'd say finding something to help with that or hormone imbalance, whatever it is
Right.
definitely like one of the, for me, top priorities because
Right.
I don't have as much cysts as other people do.
Okay. And when you have your period, are they painful?
Um, they can be painful, typically
Okay.
around like day 3, 4. They're
Okay.
extremely heavy, like
Mm,
it's really bad. But I wouldn't say painful rather than uncomfortable.
okay.
So I also
And
get nauseous a lot with on my
mm,
periods and stuff, which is also kind of connected to the birth control, but I find that the
right.
pros are better than the cons.
Right. Like it sounds like you literally have spent like the last 10 years from the time you were 13 to now 23 in terms of just trying and like trial and error what's going to work, what's going to make you feel the best that you can
Yeah, absolutely.
with the limited resource that's out there. Um, what does it hinder having like does it hinder life? Does it like how do you feel in terms of your day to day?
So I'm always nauseous all the time, pretty
Mm,
much, no matter what I eat, what I drink, anything like that. I'm pretty much nauseous 24/7. Um, so there's nothing I could do much about that.
right.
But I do find that it's easier to deal with at some point. Some
Mm,
people take like
mhm.
antacid or something like that to
Right.
help with that. I just don't want to add more like medication or
Yeah,
pills to what I'm already taking just to not mess
for
anything
sure.
else up. Um, and then the facial hair bothers me a lot. The
Fair.
laser that I started a couple months ago, and it's really been, like, an amazing transformation, like, I feel so much better.
Nice.
Um, and then just, like, making sure that you're eating relatively well, making
Mhm.
sure like, exercises, I found out that there are exercises that do work for losing weight with PCOS,
Okay.
but there are some that but most don't. So, they say that like, high intensity impact training works a
Mhm.
lot better to help lose weight with PCOS specifically, rather
Hmm.
than, like, I don't know, an hour yoga or something. Like, it
Right.
needs to be something relatively high impact, but short bursts to really
Okay.
help with the weight loss or just to keep in shape and thinness.
Right. Well, and it's just even, I'm sure, to like feel awake and to feel alive and
Yeah.
to, because when your body is literally managing so much from the PCOS to the insulin resistance to the, when it's growing hair or like doing all those things, that's your body working all the time. Like it just feels, like I picture like cartoon characters and just like not that you're a cartoon, but you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's like the one show on All the Feelings, the one movie on All the Feelings, I can't think of the name right now, but all I picture is like all like similar to that and just in terms of all the things that are happening in your body,
Mhm.
which just
Inside Out, I
doesn't
think you're
seem.
talking about.
Yes, inside, yes, and that was all emotions, which I'm sure dealing with what you're dealing with, there's a significant amount of emotions, and then I just picture all these other, little colorful characters that are just, like, messing with everything else in your body.
Yeah, absolutely. It does feel like that sometimes.
That's crazy, and does it impact so it impacts how you feel about yourself, despite the fact it sounds like you've got your head around it a little bit. You did mention some depression. Do you think that's tied, and you can talk about whatever you want or don't want, um, is that tied to the fact that you have PCOS and all the things that are happening in your body and how it affects you?
So I personally decided to try dealing with my depression just through therapy without
Okay,
medication.
great.
Just because, again, I don't want to have to rely on even more medication.
Mhm.
Like, I also have ADHD, so, like, even more to that. So it's
Right.
just like dealing with it and just figuring out like how to get through it without having to rely on medication.
Right, getting the help. I mean, I think that's very brave. So many people don't. So the fact that whether it's medication or therapy or both or, it's all a very personal decision, but it's phenomenal that you're doing all the work. Like for a young woman, you've got some answers, which doesn't always, I mean, it sounds like there's still lots of answers to be found. And I mean,
Mhm.
you've had to look to TikTok and the internet and all the things, like, well, you've got doctors. It sounds like some of the best help you've found on your own.
Absolutely, and honestly, I haven't even delved into, like, the problems that people might have getting, like, with pregnancies and stuff, and,
Right,
like, that's a later down the road thing that I'm gonna have to learn all about separately,
right.
but that's something that a lot of women deal with as well.
Yeah, I mean, all you can do is deal with what you've got right now at 23 years old. How can, you wanna start this beautiful new career in interior design, you wanna travel, you want to live, and
Mhm.
you don't want this illness to take you down.
Yeah, absolutely. The goal
So
is
what
to
would
make my life as good as it can be in the time that I
I
have.
love that. I love that. That's beautiful. What would you say to the 23-year-old who's listening right now or the young woman who's listening right now and sees themselves in you? If you were talking to them right now, what would you say to them in terms of what should they do first?
I
In
would
just in
say
from your perspective.
I would say first figure out what your biggest problems are with PCOS. If you haven't even been diagnosed yet, but you think that you have PCOS, book an appointment with a gynecologist or something.
Mhm.
Not a general practitioner, somebody who specializes in women's health and can really tell you exactly what you need to do, what you need to take, what you need to work on. And
Right.
don't take the answer of you just need to work out like, do a diet, like, it's a lot more
Right.
than that no matter what they say.
Yeah, fair. I think you're an incredible resource. I think you're an incredibly strong young woman. thank you for sharing your story. If I know someone's listening and going, wow, Noah, I need to talk to you, how can they do that?
So you can reach me on my Instagram. My handle
Okay.
is NoahGive7,
Okay.
NoAGIV7. And
All
I'm
right.
always happy to talk to anybody who might need help, who thinks they might have PCOS, sending you resources like websites, anything like that. The Mayo Clinic
Beautiful.
I found is especially helpful. They have lots of
Okay.
information on their website about it.
Amazing. Well, Noah, this has been enlightening and beautiful. And I wish you didn't have to battle all of this. I feel for you and your sisters and your mom. We're in good company in terms of having to manage these female issues, and your voice matters. And I'm really grateful that you took the risk and joined me today on the podcast. So thank you.
I was happy to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
Awesome. Thank you. Thanks for getting loud with us today on the Down There Where podcast. If this conversation resonated with you, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with someone who needs to hear it. Subscribe so you never, ever miss an episode. And leave us a review. It would help us reach more women who've been told to suffer in silence. And here's the thing, awareness isn't enough. We need action, we need funding, we need change. That's where the Down There Affair comes in. We're a global peer-to-peer fundraising movement putting menstrual health center stage, from menstruation to menopause and everything in between. Diseases affecting men receive twice the funding of those affecting women. Only 11% of research dollars go to women's health. We're here to change that. Visit downtherewhere.org to register for our next walk, start fundraising, or join the movement. We can't do this alone. Oh, and follow us on social at the Down There Affair, because this conversation doesn't stop when the episode ends. Whether you're dealing with your own health journey, supporting someone who is, or ready to demand the care we all deserve, you're in the right place. Getting uncomfortable is where change happens, and we're never going back. I'm Amy Milne. Stay loud.
Oh, that was binge-worthy.